The sun outran the storm. As the clouds raced off into the horizon, just as they seemed like they would cover the sun would drop lower and outrun the storm. Simply put, the light overpowered the dark. How true is this for our lives? Let us always remember that the light will always win over the dark as long as we choose to action it. In knowing this, we can find rest in our darkest hours. When you are in a storm, remember the sun is still shining underneath it all, waiting to peek through at you. It moved in fast, and it moved out fast. This storm moved with vengeance. The clouds raced over my head at speeds I've never seen before. Life happens quickly, and so do its storms. While we may feel like we are in one forever, we can be sure it is on the move, and the sun will shine again just as quickly as it moves into our lives. We can be certain that it will also move out quickly once it has shifted what it needs to. There was a silver lining in the clouds. You can vaguely see it in the picture, but I saw it in full effect with my eyes. I was reminded that every storm and every circumstance always has a silver lining, a lesson to be learned, a new perspective to be gained. There is always a good in goodbye and an if in life. It is our job to find optimism and to focus on the bright side of a messy situation. The silver lining is the juicy part. It holds our peace. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, they say. I could have chosen to see the storm and run from it, or think of how nasty it looked, but instead I chose to run towards it, to see it through, to stand in its beauty and watch as nature had its way. Sometimes in life, we have to stand still in the eye of a storm and flow with it instead of trying to go against it. The storm brings nourishment. When it rains, the earth is nourished. All living things need water to survive and flourish. Don't be afraid of getting wet. We can only obtain the richness of nourishment by getting wet. In fact, there is a famous quote: "Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in rain." Get wet. Dance in the storm. Let it fill you with what your journey needs when it's there. You're growing and stretching, which is the only way. Real transformation when we are in a trial, that when we turn our attention to being His masterpiece, we can find peace in knowing that He would never allow anything we couldn't handle. He uses storms to refine us and cleanse us in movement towards our greater good. Look for the stillness. Focus your eyes on God. Pray a lot. He wants our attention, and if we are willing to let Him show us the way, He'll bring restoration with sunshine, rainbows, and clear skies. God performs His greatest miracles through storms, and this is when we learn the meaning of what having true faith looks like. The storm might seem bigger than you, but God is bigger than the storm. I do not make light of thee, or write this in an insensitive tone to take away the sorrow, sadness, or hurt they can often contain. I have been through them and have been weathering my own lately. I know how they can seem and how painful they can be. The suffering and darkness can feel never-ending. If you are in a storm, please know that you are not alone. In your darkest hours, God is with you. I'm with you. We are all with you. Look for the lessons of the storm and remember this. Once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you survived. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing that is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what the storm is about.